Hello, this video is for IXL activity 7.E.5. It is titled Divide Decimals. And the 3-character code for this activity is 6 Hotel Bravo. Alright, so in dividing decimals, we're going to use the algorithm that we normally would use for dividing regular numbers, that is to say like whole numbers or integers. And however, the key thing here is the proper placement of the decimal. So whenever we divide, we need to make sure that our decimal is in the answer, is where we see it here. And so we'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put our decimal in to start off with. That way we don't forget it after we're finished. So 7 will go into 9 once, and 1 times 7 is 7. Let's go ahead and do our subtraction there. That is 2. Let's bring down the next number, right? And 7 will go into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. So that's going to be 0. Let's bring down the 2, right? So we're bringing down the 2. And then 7 will not go into 2, so we're just going to put a 0 there. Can't fit any 7s into 2. So now let's bring down the 8 and put the 8 on there. And 7 will go into 28 4 times. 7 times 4 is 28. And 28 minus 28, 0. So we're finally down to where we're at 0, so we know that we're finished, and our final answer is 130.4. Looking at the next one, we got 7.5 divided by 5. Well, we know that the number that's being divided is what goes inside the box, so let's put our 7.5 there. Not 7.7, but 7.5. And let's go ahead and draw our box around it and put our 5 out here. And 5 goes into 7 once. Put our 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract. We get 2. Let's bring down the 5. And let's put our decimal in the answer where it goes. And 5 will go into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 minus 25 is 0. So we got to 0. We know that we are finished. So 1.5 is our final answer. On the next one here, let's go ahead and put that 550.11 in the box. 500 or 550.11. Let's put it in our box there. Let's put our decimal up here so we know where it goes in our answer. And our 3 here. 3 will go into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3. Do our subtraction. We get 2. 5. 3 will go into 25 8 times. And 8 times 3 is 24. So let's subtract. We get 1. Bring down the 0. 3 will go into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. We're running out of room here. So 3 times 3 is 9. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pause and put this all up here to where we can see it. All right. So now let's go ahead and do our 10 minus 9 is 1. Let's bring down the 1 from there. This is that 1 coming all the way down to there. So 3 will go into 11 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. And from there, now I'm up against my image down here. So 11 minus 9 is 2. Let's bring down the last 1 there. And 3 will go into 21 7 times. And that's going to be 21. We'll end up at 0 there. So we're done there. So our answer is going to be 183.37. All right, next one here, 420.9. 420.9. We're going to divide that by 69. So 69, put our decimal in here. 69 will not go into 4. It won't go into 42. 69 into 420. Well, 60 will go into 427 times, but we got this 9 here that's going to take us over. So I think I'm going to back it down to 6 times. Let's try that. 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 5, and 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 5 is going to be 41. And so this is going to become 10, right? We borrowed 1 here. And 10 minus 4 is 6. And then 1 minus 1, 0. And 4 minus 4 is 0. So now let's bring down the 9. Well, this works out real well. 69 will go into 69 once. That'd be 69. And we're finally at 0. So our answer is 6.1. All right, we're finally to a problem where we have a decimal in both of them, both the in the dividend and in the divisor. So our dividend that we have, what's going in the box, is 9.457. That goes in the box, and then 0.7 outside. Now we want this to be a non-decimal number, so we need to multiply it by 10. That is to say, we're going to move the decimal over one place, so it becomes a 7. And likewise, we need to move this over one place on the right, and now our decimal is going to be here in our answer instead. So now 7 will go into 9 once. 1 times 7 is 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. Let's bring down the 4. 7 will go into 24. What is that? 3 times, right? And 7 times 3 is 21. So let's bring down our 3. And now, or actually, it's difference is 3. Now let's bring down the 5. 7 will go into 35 5 times, and that is 35. So we get 0. Now let's bring down that 7 down there. And 7 will go into 7 once. And 7 times 1 is 7. And we're finally at 0. So we are at our final answer of 13.51. The key thing here is once you get a decimal out here in your divisor, you have to move it to the right. And however many times you have to move it to the right to get a non-decimal number, you're going to do that to your dividend as well. On the next one, we have 381 divided by 0.16. So we're going to have to move this over 2 places. For that becomes 16. So we're going to have to move this over 2 spaces as well. Let's extend this out. Now our decimal is going to be here. We're going to have to put a couple answers in here. And then let's go ahead and go through. This will be the last one I work without a calculator. I want to do a few of these so you, without a calculator so that you recognize that you have to move that decimal over. So 16 will not go into 3, but it will go into 38, right? And I believe it'll go, twice, right? 16 times 2, or let's do this. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1, and 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more is 3, so we get 32. And 8 minus 2 is 6, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So let's bring down that 1. 16 will go into 61. Let me see. If we do it 5 times, that would be 50. That would be too many. 4 times would be 40. I think let's try 4. 4 will get us close. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2, and we would end up with 6, right? Well, now we have a number that's too big, so we actually went with a number that was too great. So let's go ahead and try, instead of a 4, that produced a product that was too big. Let's try 3. 3 times 6 is 18. We're going to carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. Let's do our subtraction, and we would have, make this, let's borrow 1 here, 5, make this an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. 13 is less than 16, so we know that we're good to go there. Let's bring the 0 down. Now let's go ahead and let's try a number like 8. That would be 80. I think 8 would get us close. Let's try 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry our 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. Yeah, that's going to work real well. So that's going to give us a difference of 2, right? So we're good to go there. And let's bring down this 0 here now. 16 will go into 20 once. And that's going to produce 16. And then we're going to have 4. Let's bring down another 0 here. All right, start putting another 0 in because 4 is not 0, so we have to keep going. So we bring down another 0. 16 will go into 40. Let's try 3 times, right? Was 48. That would be too much. So let's try 2 times. And so 2 times 16 is going to be 32. That's going to produce 8 for us. And let's bring down another 0. All right. 16 will go into 80. Let's try 5. 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the 3. All right. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 more is 8. And indeed, we are finally at 0, right? So this is our final answer. So 2381.25. Now, whenever you get to larger numbers like this, chances are you're going to start using a calculator. This would take some time to do, but the key thing is we need to move the decimal over 2 places. So we move it over 2 places here, and we end up putting a decimal in right here. And I'm really debating on whether or not I want to do this one. It would be lengthy. Let's go ahead. Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and do another one like that. It's really going to be long, so I'm going to put my division box up here. And 6, 6, 2, 3. Remember, I moved the decimal over 2 places. So that's going to be a 25 outside. 3, 8, 0. So 25 will not go into 6. It will go into 66, twice, right? And we know that 25 times 2 is 50. And so we have 6 and 1. 16 is less than 25, so we know we're good to go. Let's bring down the 2. 25 will go into 162, 6 times, right? So 6 times 25 is going to be 150. And I'm just kind of doing these times 25s in my head. So 2 and 1. So 12 is less than 25. I'm good to go there. Bring down the 3. That's going to go 4 times, right? That's going to give us 100. And so we're going to be at 23. Now I need to bring down the 8. Now 25, well, 8 25s is 200. 9 25s is 225. So 9 times 25 is 225. And now I have 8 minus 5 is 3. And 3 minus 2 is 1. And let's bring down the 0, keeping those place values lined up. Now 225 will go into 130. 25 will go into 130. 4 25s is 100. 5 25s is going to be 125. I think we're just about there. Whew, good. This is going to be 5. So we're going to put a decimal there. Decimal here. Keep it lined up. Now let's go ahead and put in a 0. Bring that 0 down. 25 will go into 50 twice. And 25 times 2 is 50, and that produces 0, so we are finally at our answer here. So it is going to be lining up over this 26, 49, 5. Did I put 2, 6, 2, 3, 8, 0? Oh, yeah, that's right, because we moved the decimal over. Had to move the decimal over, that's why. So we end up with... we move the decimal over 2 places. We got to right here. Oh, because the decimal's out here. So let's start from the left and go right. Let's put in the 2, 5, 9, 4, 6, 2. There we go. And if we put our comma in there, we end up see that it's 26,495.2. Wow. Now on the next one, it's going to say divide and round your answer to the nearest whole number. So at this point, instead of working it out on that way, I'm going to go ahead and put this into a calculator and whenever see what we get. So we have 8,676, and we're going to divide that by 86. And whenever I do, it produces 100.8837.209. So that's what I have showing on my calculator here. But it says to the nearest whole number. That means to the nearest ones place, right? Non-decimal number. So we need to look to the right and see what is the next value over, and it is an 8. So the old rule of 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. You may have heard this before. And if it's 5 or more, then we're going to raise the score. And this works because it kind of rhymes, right? So what that means is that if this number to the right of what we're rounding to is a 4 or less, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, we're going to just let this number remain the same. However, if it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, yep, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to raise it up to the next number. So 8 is greater than 5, so this 0 here, right here, that 0 is going to become a 1, so it would be 101. So raised to the nearest whole number would be 101. On the next one here, let's do 3056. 3056. We're going to divide that by 0.75. And the result of that is 4074.666. It's a repeating 6. So it would be, I'll leave that there, repeating 6. We'll leave it at that. Now it says to the nearest tenth. Well, this is the tenths place right here. So we need to look at this next number here. It's a 6. 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. So it is more than 5. So this 6 here is going to become a 7 instead. So we would have 4074.7. We raised it. We rounded it to the nearest tenth. And then for the last one, let's go ahead and put in 2.825. We're going to divide that by 3.9. So this lesson has a lot to do with understanding about rounding. Okay, so we're kind of revisiting a skill that hopefully we know already. And that's going to result in 0.7243589744. Wow. But we just need to round to the nearest hundredths place. So we have to identify that place value. Well, this is the tenths. Remember we talked about this is the tenths. And this right here is the hundredths. The word hundred with a TH on the end, THS, hundredths. So we're wanting to round to the nearest hundredth. So it's this spot right here. So we have to look at the next number to the right. It is a 4. That means we're going to let this 2 remain a 2. So we'd end up with 0.72 rounded to the nearest hundred. All right. So keep in mind that if you already know how to do division like this, of setting this up and using the algorithm and doing the long division, it's what we call long division because it's a long process, right? We saw that in a couple of them. You know, a couple of them there were pretty, especially this one. This one was really long. So we refer to this as the algorithm. The algorithm is simply a process of doing something, and but it is known as long division. And the key thing here is what they're wanting us to learn here is that we have to move that decimal over in order to do this long division and make sure our decimal stays lined up in the proper spot in our answer. However, whenever you get to problems such as this here, where they're wanting you to do that, I'm fine with you using a calculator on that. Bear in mind that you need to understand place value and rounding. The whole 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise the score. But understanding where place values are and how to round numbers, that's pretty important in this activity as well. So those are all of my examples for IXL 7.E.5, divide decimals, and good luck with your activity.